The first Stoic rule is simple but profound. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." When someone disrespects you, your instinct might be to change their mind, to prove them wrong, or to make them see your worth. But here's the hard truth: you can't control their thoughts, their words, or their actions. Trying to do so is like trying to control the wind. It's exhausting and futile. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're at work, and your boss dismisses your carefully prepared presentation. You spent weeks on it, pouring your heart into every detail, but they barely glance at it before moving on. Your first reaction might be anger or frustration. You might want to argue, to demand they listen, or to sulk in silence, feeling unappreciated. But Stoicism asks you to pause and ask, what's in my control here? You can't control your boss's reaction, their biases, or their mood. What you can control is how you respond, your attitude, your effort, and your next steps. This principle is about redirecting your energy. Instead of obsessing over your boss's disrespect, focus on doing your work with excellence. Maybe you refine your presentation for the next opportunity, seek feedback from a trusted colleague, or explore ways to improve your skills. By focusing on your actions, you reclaim your power. You stop giving the other person control over your emotions and self-worth. Let's take another example. Suppose a friend constantly interrupts you or makes snide comments about your choices. You might feel tempted to confront them, to demand respect, or to cut them out of your life entirely. But Stoicism invites you to consider, what's in my control? You can control how much time you spend with this person, how you communicate your boundaries, and how you let their words affect you. You can't control their behavior, but you can choose to stay calm, assertive, and true to your values. This rule isn't about passivity, it's about empowerment. By focusing on what you can control, you stop wasting energy on things that drain you. You start building a life rooted in your own principles, not someone else's approval. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When you embrace this mindset, disrespect from others loses its grip on you. You become unshakable, not because you're immune to pain, but because you've chosen to focus on what truly matters. Let's make this practical. The next time you feel disrespected, try this exercise. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I control in this moment? Write down 1 or 2 actions you can take. Maybe it's speaking up calmly, walking away with dignity, or focusing on a task that aligns with your goals. This simple shift in perspective can transform how you experience disrespect. It's not about ignoring the slight, it's about choosing where to place your energy. This rule also applies to your inner world. You can't always control the emotions that arise when someone disrespects you. Anger, sadness, or insecurity might bubble up, but you can control how you process those emotions. Stoicism encourages you to observe your feelings without letting them take over. Acknowledge the anger, but don't let it drive your actions. Feel the hurt, but don't let it define your worth. By focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, your reactions, your choices, you build a foundation of inner strength that no one can take away. The second Stoic rule is to cultivate your own virtue, regardless of how others treat you. In Stoicism, virtue is the highest good. It's about living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to fall into the trap of reacting in ways that compromise your values. You might snap back in anger, hold a grudge, or stoop to their level. But Stoicism teaches that your character is your greatest asset, and no one can take it from you unless you let them. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote, "No one can harm the person who does not harm themselves." This means that true harm doesn't come from external disrespect, it comes from abandoning your principles in response to it. When someone disrespects you, they're revealing something about their character, not yours. Your job is to stay true to who you are, to act with integrity even when it's hard. Let's consider a scenario. You're at a family gathering, and a relative makes a cutting remark about your career or lifestyle. The room laughs, and you feel humiliated. Your instinct might be to lash out or retreat into silence, but Stoicism challenges you to respond with virtue. Maybe that means responding with a calm, thoughtful reply that shows your confidence. Maybe it means choosing not to engage, because you know their words don't define you. Either way, you're acting with dignity, not because you need their approval, but because that's who you are. Cultivating virtue also means practicing self-discipline. When disrespect triggers strong emotions, it's tempting to react impulsively, to yell, to argue, or to seek revenge. But Stoicism asks you to pause and choose a response that aligns with your values. This might mean taking a moment to breathe before speaking, or reflecting on whether a confrontation is worth your energy. By practicing self-discipline, you strengthen your character and show yourself and others what you stand for. Justice is another key Stoic virtue. When someone disrespects you, it's natural to want to get even or prove them wrong. But Stoicism encourages you to act with fairness, even toward those who wrong you. This doesn't mean being a doormat, it means treating others with the respect you wish to receive, even when they don't reciprocate. For example, if a coworker undermines you, you might choose to address it professionally, focusing on the issue rather than attacking them personally. This approach not only preserves your integrity but also sets an example for others. Wisdom, the final Stoic virtue, is about seeing things clearly. When someone disrespects you, ask yourself, why are they acting this way? Are they projecting their own insecurities? Are they stressed or unaware of their impact? Understanding their behavior doesn't excuse it, but it helps you respond with clarity rather than reactivity. Wisdom allows you to separate their actions from your self-worth, so you can act from a place of strength, not defensiveness. To cultivate virtue, make it a daily practice. Start each morning by setting an intention. Today, I will act with courage, wisdom, justice, and self-discipline, no matter how others treat me. When disrespect comes your way, remind yourself of this commitment. Over time, you'll find that living virtuously becomes second nature, and the opinions of others will matter less. The third Stoic rule is to practice amor fati, a Latin phrase that means love your fate. Marcus Aurelius wrote, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This doesn't mean you have to like or agree with everything that happens to you. It means embracing life as it is, including the moments of disrespect, as opportunities for growth. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to feel like a victim, to think, why is this happening to me? But amor fati invites you to reframe the experience. Instead of seeing disrespect as an injustice, see it as a chance to practice patience, resilience, and self-mastery. Every challenge, including disrespect, is a teacher in disguise. It's a chance to test your Stoic principles and grow stronger. Let's say you're passed over for a promotion, and a less qualified colleague gets the role. The sting of being overlooked can feel like a personal attack. But instead of dwelling on the unfairness, amor fati asks you to accept the situation and find value in it. Maybe this is an opportunity to reassess your goals, seek new opportunities, or develop skills that make you even more competitive. By embracing the moment, you transform a setback into a stepping stone. This mindset also applies to personal relationships. If someone close to you disrespects you, say, a partner who dismisses your feelings, amor fati doesn't mean you tolerate mistreatment. It means accepting that this is the reality of the situation and deciding how to respond in a way that aligns with your values. Maybe you have an honest conversation, set boundaries, or choose to distance yourself. Whatever you decide, you're embracing the moment as part of your journey, not as a roadblock. Practicing amor fati requires a shift in perspective. It's about seeing life as a series of events that shape you, not define you. When disrespect comes your way, try this. Say to yourself, this is my chance to practice stoicism. This is my opportunity to grow. It's not about pretending everything is fine, it's about choosing to find meaning in the challenge. A practical way to embody amor fati is through journaling. At the end of each day, write about a moment when you felt disrespected. Reflect on how you responded and how you could have responded differently. Ask yourself, how can I use this experience to become wiser, stronger, or more compassionate? Over time, this practice helps you see challenges as opportunities, not threats. Amor fati also reminds us that life is bigger than any single moment of disrespect. The person who dismissed you, the colleague who undermined you, the stranger who judged you, their actions are just a small part of your story. By loving your fate, you take control of that story, choosing to focus on growth and purpose rather than resentment. The fourth Stoic rule is to practice negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum, the act of imagining potential challenges before they happen. This isn't about pessimism. It's about preparing your mind to handle difficulties with grace. Seneca advised, we should project our thoughts ahead of us at every turn and have in mind all possible troubles. When it comes to disrespect, this practice helps you anticipate and diffuse its impact before it even occurs. Imagine you're about to give a presentation to a tough audience. You know some people might criticize or dismiss you. Instead of hoping for the best and being blindsided by negativity, take a few moments to visualize the worst-case scenario. Picture someone interrupting you, questioning your expertise, or ignoring your points. Then, imagine yourself responding calmly, confidently, and professionally. By mentally rehearsing these scenarios, you reduce their emotional power over you. Negative visualization isn't about dwelling on the negative, it's about building resilience. When you've already imagined the worst, the actual experience feels less daunting. You're not caught off guard, and you're ready to respond with clarity and composure. For example, if you're worried about a family member's judgmental comments at a gathering, visualize their remarks and practice how you'll respond, perhaps with a polite deflection or a confident assertion of your choices. This practice also helps you detach from the need for external validation. When you visualize disrespect, you remind yourself that other people's opinions don't define you. You prepare yourself to stay grounded in your own values, no matter how others react. This is especially powerful in situations where you feel vulnerable, like a job interview or a difficult conversation with a loved one. To incorporate negative visualization into your life, set aside a few minutes each day to reflect on potential challenges. Think about situations where you might face disrespect at work, in relationships, or in public. Imagine how you'll feel and how you'll respond. Picture yourself staying calm, assertive, and true to your principles. This mental rehearsal builds confidence and reduces the emotional sting of disrespect when it happens. Negative visualization also pairs well with the first rule, focusing on what you can control. When you imagine a disrespectful scenario, you're reminded that you can't control others' actions, but you can control your response. This clarity helps you approach challenges with a sense of preparedness and power. Let's say you're dealing with a toxic coworker who constantly criticizes your work. Before your next interaction, take a moment to visualize their behavior. Imagine them making a snide comment or undermining your contribution. Then, picture yourself responding with professionalism, perhaps addressing their critique constructively or choosing to focus on your tasks instead of engaging. By preparing for the worst, you're less likely to be rattled when it happens. This practice also fosters gratitude. When you imagine negative scenarios, you often realize that things could be worse. Even if someone disrespects you, you're still in control of your character, your choices, and your growth. This perspective helps you appreciate what you have and stay grounded in the face of adversity. The fifth and final Stoic rule is to practice self-reflection and growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig." When someone disrespects you, it's an opportunity to look inward, to examine your reactions, and to grow into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Self-reflection starts with honesty. When you feel disrespected, ask yourself, why does this bother me? Is it because I'm seeking their approval? Am I tying my worth to their opinion? Am I reacting out of pride or insecurity? These questions aren't about self-blame, they're about understanding your triggers so you can respond with clarity and purpose. For example, let's say a friend makes a dismissive comment about your hobbies. You feel hurt, but instead of stewing in resentment, take a moment to reflect. Why does their comment sting? Maybe it's because you're passionate about your hobbies and their dismissal feels like a rejection of your identity. By understanding this, you can choose a response that aligns with your values, perhaps explaining why your hobbies matter to you or simply letting their comment slide because you know your worth doesn't depend on their approval. Self-reflection also means examining your own behavior. Stoicism isn't about being perfect, it's about striving to be better. Ask yourself, did I contribute to this situation in any way? Could I have communicated more clearly or set better boundaries? This isn't about taking blame for someone else's disrespect, it's about taking responsibility for your own growth. A powerful way to practice self-reflection is through journaling. At the end of each day, write about a moment when you felt disrespected or challenged. Describe what happened, how you felt, and how you responded. Then, ask yourself, what did I learn from this? How can I respond differently next time? This Practice helps you identify patterns, build self-awareness, and make intentional choices. Self-reflection also fosters gratitude and perspective. When you look inward, you often realize that disrespect is a small part of your life. You have strengths, passions, and relationships that bring you joy. By focusing on these, you shift your attention away from external slights and toward what truly matters. Growth is the natural outcome of self-reflection. Every time you face disrespect and choose to respond with Stoic principles, focusing on what you can control, cultivating virtue, loving your fate, preparing for challenges, you become a little stronger, a little wiser. Over time, these moments of adversity become stepping stones to a more resilient, purposeful life. Let's say you're dealing with a manager who constantly overlooks your contributions. Through self-reflection, you might realize that their behavior triggers feelings of inadequacy. Instead of letting those feelings fester, you decide to grow from the experience. Maybe you seek out a mentor, take a course to build your skills, or explore new career opportunities. By focusing on your growth, you turn a negative experience into a catalyst for positive change.